This is Hot Mic. Hot Mic. On the networks of WDAY. Here's Dom Izzo.
Welcome back, everybody. Hour 2, ready to rock and roll here on this Tuesday morning. Tim Bergstrasser, Dragon men's basketball coach, will join us about a half hour to put a bow on MSUM's tremendous season. Came up one game short of the Elite Eight, which actually I believe, Eric, correct me if I'm wrong, I think that starts today in Evansville as the D2 Elite Eight tips off later. We'll give you the game times on that coming up before we say goodbye. But on top of all the basketball news, football never stops around here. Obviously, NDSU opened up spring football yesterday. UND's been going for a couple days. The Bison got their first commit for the class of 2026. I'm saying that out loud, 2026. And they got a North Dakota guy to boot out of a school they've had a handful of guys come and have some big impacts on the roster. That's West Fargo Cheyenne, who are the reigning state champs in 3A football. Kye Schlichting got an offer on Friday, and he didn't waste too much time as he committed to NDSU, and he joins us this morning. We were joking off air about the last couple days. Tell me, what is your phone on fire after the last couple days?
Yeah, it's calmed down a little bit today, but yesterday was crazy. You kept looking at my phone, it kept buzzing in my pocket. I actually had to turn my notifications off after a while because I was in class and it kept going off.
So give us the lowdown on this. I know you got offered officially on Friday, but take us the backstory of when you first heard from NDSU and when they were really starting to show some interest.
So it all started this summer, going to camp. I kind of got put in the good recruiting group, and some of the coaches had talked to me then, and that's kind of when the connection started from this summer. And it kind of just trickled along, and we kept getting stronger and stronger until they finally made that offer there on Friday. So
take me back into camp where that is the best of the best that are coming for high school players from the upper Midwest. When you're thrown into maybe an elite group, what's going through your mind when you're going up against guys from all over the upper Midwest?
Yeah, it's definitely tough going against some of those guys. They're a lot bigger and, stronger, but you kind of just go there and play, do what you do, play ball, and it says it for itself,
So to have that kind of performance out of that, what was your confidence level out of that in June?
It was a lot coming out of June. I felt, a lot better after they had talked to me and said, I was on the radar. So it made me feel better. And going into camp, I felt improved for sure, because the 3-day camp, gets you learn a lot of new skills. So. All
right. So camp gets done, then you get ready for the start of the season. In the back of your mind, are you thinking, boy, am I a Division I player? Did I get enough? What's your mental thought there before the start of the high school season?
I didn't think I was good enough to be offered, but I knew if I played my best, I could get up there. So it was kind of on me to do my thing.
So that's the kind of inside motivation. Obviously, you have a loaded team. You guys bring so many guys back. Describe the season you have. It obviously ends the best way possible, and I want to get to the Dakota Bowl in a second. But to have the pressure of, okay, we got a guy who's going to go play at Nebraska. We've got guys who are going to play college football. What was it like every Friday knowing basically we're the favorites?
Yeah, I've been a part of this program for, my whole life now. It's insane. We're always on a winning side of the team, and this year with Cade Petchak and our, quarterback Cade Olson, it was a great team. So, we knew going into the games that, we were going to dominate. Of course, week 4 and week 5, we had some up and downs, but we bounced back, and we know what we could do there.
So you guys are rolling during the year. You're playing well. Is more attention starting to come, and are you noticing that in the stands?
Yeah, for sure. Even after we started playing well, then, news started to come, and there was one day the Nebraska coaches came, so we played amazing that day, and Newton, yeah. He loved the energy at practice. So,
what is that like when they're there and they're looking at one guy as, hey, come look at me as well? How do you try and you want to practice, but you want to get your name out there?
Yeah, it was the whole entire team was playing like it was a game. It was the intensity was very high.
So you got a game day visit, I know, to the Bison UND game, and we were visiting yesterday. You've been a Bison fan all your life. What was that? Now, okay, I'm going, but they're inviting me because they think I can play here.
Yeah, it's definitely surreal, honestly, from this summer and even now. But going to the game this summer was kind of just like a little glimpse into what it'll be like. But it's awesome. It really is.
So I got to ask on the Dakota Bowl. You're playing Davies. We know how much you hate those guys. It's a rivalry.
Yeah.
It goes without saying. To have the kind of performance you did in that game, how personally gratifying was that for you?
I mean, it was amazing. I honestly didn't know it was going to come, but our linemen make great blocks. Our scheme was perfect for everything that we came up with for Davies and their defense. So everything worked out. The game plan. It's all on Newton. I did my part, but everyone else did their job too. So
We watched the first touchdown you had in the Dakota Bowl. When you have a hole open up like that, what goes through your mind? Like, oh my God, like this is what you dream about?
yeah, those are the best. Those are the ones that you just like. There's nothing. There's just nothing but touchdown there. Just see the end zone. That's it.
Just don't fall down, right?
Yeah, don't fall down.
The fact that you scored twice, Kye, well, I mean, and obviously you won. I want to get to that in a minute. But to have you individually have that kind of game, what did that mean to you personally?
I think it meant more to my family more than myself. My parents are extremely proud of me after the game, and of course, being the player of the game was a lot meant to me. I didn't really understand until after of how much of a big deal it was, and then I had some coaches, texting me how like good job, and it was definitely big, for sure.
So, how much did recruiting life change after that game?
A lot. That was definitely my best game, and I think I played the best in that state championship than any other game. I had the most recruiting clips on that, and most of my highlights were from that game. So it was definitely a lot.
So things start getting active then. Now we're in mid to late November. Is that when, in your own mind, okay, Division I is ahead, or when did it start to click for you that Division I football is on the horizon?
So yeah, once NDSU invited me out to their junior day and UND invited me out, I knew I had a chance to build some connections there and kind of roll on with those coaches. And yeah, so at that point, I knew I was probably destined to get maybe a walk on or a scholarship at the end.
So, Kye, for people that don't know, give us the lowdown on what the junior day visit is. What goes into that, and what do you get to see and get to do?
For most kids, you go and you tour everything, the locker rooms. You go and you can go in some of the school parts, but it's kind of to get there and meet the coaches a little bit and go through some of their schemes. It's kind of like building like a connection with some of the coaches and getting just a lot of the environment. But being from Fargo and I've been there before, so I was not new for sure.
But the fact you got to experience it, though, I know it wasn't new, but you're going through it. What was that like?
It was great. It was, probably the best part for me because I get to, build some connections with the coaches, and that's probably the best part of it. That's where it all comes down. It's not about the program, it's about the coaches as well.
All right, so get to the nitty gritty now. When actually they go and offer you a scholarship and offer you a chance to play at NDSU, give us the backstory on that.
Yeah, so this Friday we went and watched the spring practice. So we watched their team morning run. It was great. And then we actually went back to the Fargo Dome and sat with Paul Sec in his office and with my family. And he offered me right there a spot. So almost made my mom cry, but it was
Okay, so
definitely.
it happens. Do you say yes right there, or did you think about it?
You know, I had to think about it for sure. I couldn't make a decision right then and there, but I knew, I wanted to play for the Bison. Like right there, I knew I had to, but feel like in that moment I couldn't make a decision.
So you think about it and say yes. So I'm always interested in this. When the phone call to them, what was that like, and what was the reaction on the other end of the phone?
Yeah, so I called Paul Sec. He, originally asking me about how my other colleges are going because I said I was gonna follow up with some other colleges, but I just got right to the point and I said, I know what's best for me and I want to officially commit. And he was pumped up, yes, let's go. So that made me feels pretty good,
To be
pretty
a
special.
to be a North Dakotan and to be the first, what does that mean to you for this class?
It means a lot. I get to I get to set the tone for the class, and I hope more kids come. Hopefully we have a pretty strong group, and I can't wait to make some connections with the guy. Hope we get some more recruits signing.
Did this happen earlier than you thought? Did you think, well, this might go out into the summer, or was this when it happened when it happened?
I didn't quite know when or how I was going to get offered, but I'm glad it happened. Now because no matter what, I was going to commit to play for the Bison. I feel like that's my home. You know, I want to play for them.
So,
But I'm glad it happened now because being the first means a lot.
So we saw your highlights. You're running back. You play all over the place. Where have they envisioned you? Have they got an idea of where you think you're going to play?
Yeah, so I'm going to be playing receiver at NDSU. So I'll probably be playing more receiver next year, some slot with Cheyenne, and kind of all around the field.
Well, you got to tell Newton to throw the ball then. I mean, because you guys never throw it.
Yeah, we're old school. We like running the ball. That's
to have this, and you join a list of guys. I mean, I ran through it last night, the story. You can read on Inform. There's 6 guys from Sheyenne that have gone to play at NDSU. What's it mean to be the latest in a line of guys that have gone and done that?
It means that we're like a great powerhouse. I think we've had so many NDSU recruits, and I think more to come. We have some great younger guys coming up, so it's just going to keep going, I think.
Now, is it a stretch to say that maybe football isn't your best sport because you've got the school record in the long jump as well? Tell me about the affinity and the love for track that you have.
That started since I was a kid. You know, it's always been a training to get better for football. But I excelled at long jump starting 8th grade year actually, and it kind of kept going and going. But it's definitely there. I don't know what I'm better at for sure, but we'll see with this season.
So let me ask on how has track helped you in football and vice versa? How has football helped you in track?
Definitely the speed part of it for sure. I mean, we do so many acceleration, and it helps me, especially receiver. You know, to help me get faster and more agile. But the training for sure.
The long jump is difficult, man. You set the school record at the EDC meet this past May. Describe that, and why was that the perfect conditions and jump that you had that particular day?
Yeah, the EDC meet at NDSU was perfect. It was like 84 degrees, hot, like 4-mile-an-hour winds. It was perfect day, but the environment at EDC it's really great. You know, everyone wants to win. I want to win, so I go out there. I do my best. And I mean, I didn't win, but I got the school record, so that for sure was a lot.
PRs are big time, man. That's big time stuff.
Yeah.
Before I let you go, what has school been like so far today?
It's been pretty boring, honestly. Just had accounting, so a lot of numbers so far.
Have you had some people come up to you and congratulate you? I guess that's what I meant in terms of what is that been like?
It was more yesterday that some of the teachers, came up and congratulated me, and some of the kids were. They're like making fun of me, like, "Hey, you're going to NDSU." I'm like, "Yeah."
That's big time stuff, bud. I really appreciate the time. I know you got to get back to class. Thanks so much for doing this. Congratulations, and we'll look forward to seeing you on the track this spring. Okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Kye Schlichting joining us from West Fargo, Sheyenne. He's in the boat, as they like to say, the first commit for the Bison class of 2026. And for those that watched this past year's Dakota Bowl, and you saw couple of his highlight runs that he had for Sheyenne against Davies. Good size, 6'3", 190 pounds. He'll put on some more, obviously, going forward. But as you heard, he's going to play wide receiver, at least to start. And they have the athlete designation next to him on the recruiting side of things. So that could mean a variety of things. He could move positions. Nothing ever is set in stone ever in recruiting. But the first one is in, and it's March 25th. And I wrote this morning, and I have to maybe go back into the records a little bit further. I know Jackson Dutenheffer committed in March of 2020 because we were dying for sports stories at this time of the year 5 years ago. And that was the earliest commit I can ever remember that Bison football got. Last year, Gavin Wang was the first to commit from Annandale, Minnesota, and that was in April, about 3 weeks from now. So you could say it's late, depending on your viewpoint of 2026 guys. I think this is probably when NDSU starts to see some pickup. But I imagine there'll be a few more now with the first one in. But Kye Schlichting, West Fargo, Sheyenne, the first one in for the class of 2026. We'll break. I got a bunch of emails to get to. An update on the Twins TV situation. It ain't great. That's coming up when Hot Mike returns after this.